Hi, I'm Gregory, founder of the Brain Academy, and today I'm going to share with you my 9 favorite brain hacks. I'm talking real brain hacks here, not general brain health advice. I'm not going to cover memory and study hacks either, as I'm planning on doing that in another video. 9 brain hacks, actually 10 because I'm planning on doing a bonus one. 9 plus 1 brain hacks. 9 plus 1 brain hacks I myself use all the time, and maybe they can help you as well. Now, before we jump in, let me quickly give some context about what a brain hack actually is and does. You see, our brain operates mainly on a non-conscious level. We're talking 95% or more. Now, this has led some scientists to argue that we aren't really in charge of what's going on in our own brain, that we're merely like a commentator of a sports game, observing and commenting on what we see is going on with ourselves. So much for free will, I guess. Now, I myself, I don't follow that school of thought. I'm a strong believer of free will and that we do have advocacy in our own life. That it is possible to take back control of our own life and steer it purposefully in a direction of choice. And these brain hacks will help you with that. Now, for some of them, you might be skeptical if they work. I know I was. Now, just try them out and see for yourself. This is a great one for the procrastinators among us. You know when you have a task to do, work, study or whatever, and you don't feel like doing it, even though you really should be doing it? Well, next time, try the Covert Start. So how does it work? Well, let's say you have to write an article or an essay or something. Treat your brain as if it was someone else and reassure him. So you go and tell your brain you only want to do a very small part of the work. So you open your laptop and you go, don't worry. I just want to open up Word. Then you go, let me just write the first couple of lines. Then once you wrote them, you go for the first paragraph, then the first page. And before you know it, you're writing the whole damn thing. Now, each time you feel your brain is resisting, and it will resist, it's important to reassure it. Don't start a battle of wills like,
we have to do this, let's do the job.
Nuh-uh. On the contrary, you go, don't worry, I want to do just a little more. This works because our brain doesn't like open ends. It likes to finish things. So for example, if I stop talking in the middle of... In the same way, if you started working on something, your brain will want to finish it. Napping is great. I love it. It's really a pity it isn't more of a widespread habit. So the whole idea of taking a small nap, usually after lunch, helps us recharge our batteries and be more focused and productive for the rest of the afternoon. Now this works because of adenosine. We're all familiar with our circadian rhythm and even our melatonin levels, right? But do you know about adenosine? Most people don't, even though it is by far the most important factor causing us to feel tired. When we're awake, our brain produces adenosine. The longer we're awake, the more adenosine there is in our brain, the more tired we feel. It's a very simple and straightforward mechanism. And guess how we get rid of adenosine? Yes, by sleeping. And by taking a short nap in the middle of the day, we reduce our adenosine levels significantly, so we feel more refreshed and focused for the rest of the day. This is another one of my all-time favorites. Whilst I use napping to get more energy and focus, I do use sleep, regular nighttime sleep, as a problem-solving tool. I kid you not. Whenever I'm hitting a roadblock, if I'm getting stuck when writing a text or developing a new course, I just sleep on it. Just make sure it's top of mind before going to bed and then just sleep. When I get back to work the next day, almost every time I find a solution to my problem with relative ease. So why is this working? Our brain never stops. Even at night it doesn't rest. It uses that downtime to do maintenance work and rearrange the input from the prior day, making new connections with what's already stored up there. So the next day, the new information is integrated and new links and solutions can emerge more easily. This one is probably my favorite brain hack. Even though I have to admit, the first time I heard about it myself, I thought it was complete BS, until I tried it out. So it goes like this. When you feel nervous, stressed for a particular event, let's say you have to give a presentation or pass an exam, Well, instead of telling yourself to calm down, tell your brain you are not stressed but excited. I know it sounds stupid and there is no way this could work, right? But it does, and really well. The first time I used it, it was when I had to give my first TEDx presentation, and I've been using it ever since.
When I'm asked what I do for a living, I usually answer, well, I help people use their brain better.
So why does it work? Well, from a physiological point of view, stress and excitement are very similar. They are both arousal states. Now, stress is a negative emotion, and the cortisol is actually killing brain cells. It really does, and that's not good. Whilst excitement is a positive emotion and makes you look forward to what is to come and not dread it. So the first couple of times your brain won't buy it. It's not that stupid. But little by little, the more you repeat it to yourself, the more your brain will start to lean into it. And before you know, you will start to actually feel the excitement for the daunting experience that is to come. And instead of feeling you have to face this impossible task, you will actually embrace the experience and even enjoy it. I know, it's crazy. Probably one of the most powerful tools available to humans is reframing. Through reframing, we're capable of turning a negative experience into a positive one. It's all about shifting our frame of reference, our way of looking at things, our benchmark, if you will. Take any negative experience. For example, you lost your job. Now you can look at it as a catastrophe and financial tragedy, or you can see this as an opportunity for a new beginning. You didn't really like the old job anyway, right? You see what I'm doing here? It's still the same event, but the way you frame it, the way you give meaning to it, changes how you feel about it. Is it a tragedy or an opportunity? How do you feel about going through a tragedy? Now, how do you feel about getting offered an opportunity? Now, if you're one of those people who overthink everything and can't stop that little voice in their head, I have a cool brain hack which will do just that. Silence your inner critic. It's delightfully simple. You just need to sing or hum a song will do as well. Now, why does this work? Well, networks of neurons can't do two things at the same time. If you're busy singing, you can't be busy overthinking something. The trick here is to activate the same neural network you use for overthinking, and singing will do just fine. If you find yourself struggling with your temper, having regular anger outbursts, well, the next brain hack will help you deal with that. You just need to start using your non-dominant hand in all kinds of activities for the next couple of weeks. So why does it work? By using your non-dominant hand, meaning your left hand if you're right-handed and your right hand if you're left-handed. Well, you will be training yourself at getting better at managing your emotions, as you will be constantly submitting yourself to low levels of frustrations. And by the first law of neuroplasticity, we become better at what we repeat and focus on. Now, this actually works on other things as well, like developing grit or willpower. By training yourself on small things requiring willpower, you will prepare yourself to face bigger challenges. I do this all the time. You probably have heard about not using the word but, right? Instead, you should be using the word and. The argument goes that whatever comes before the but loses its meaning by what follows after the but. So instead of saying, you did great, but you should improve on this or that, you should say, you did great and you should improve on this or that. Look, I get it, and sure, it's not as bad, but to me, it feels artificial. I don't like that one so much. There's another way of dealing with a but here, and that is to switch things around. Instead of saying, you did great, but you should improve on this or that, you should say, you should improve on this or that, but you did great. See what I did here? As the focus is on the second part and the first part loses strength, I flipped the positive part to the second part of the sentence. Did you see how powerful that is? Try it out for yourself. This one isn't mine. It comes from one of my students at the Brain Academy. We have these weekly group sessions where we discuss all topics brain related. So last week I asked their input regarding favorite brain hacks. We covered several of the hacks presented here, and then came this one. If you want to stop doing something, you have to picture it in a very unattractive setting. For example, if you want to stop eating your favorite dessert, picture it with worms crawling all over it. Why does it work? Well, the repulsive association will activate your insula, which will make you feel nauseous instead of craving for it. If you repeat that every time you think of your favorite dessert, you will be linking both together, and you won't be thinking of it that much anymore very soon. Remember how I told you that over 95% of what's going on in our brain happens on a non-conscious level? Well, thanks to brain science, we now know much more of what's going on up there. And by becoming aware of what's happening in our brain and what drives non-conscious behavior, well, we can become more than observers and even influence the outcome of those processes. So why does this work? Well, by understanding what's happening in our brain, why we do the things we do the way we do them, well, we become conscious of the underlying processes and we can consciously decide to override them. Or as Carl Jung would say, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That concludes my 10 favorite brain hacks. Which brain hacks do you use? Leave in the comments below. And if you want the full experience, become a member at brainacademy.com. Follow our courses, join us on our weekly sessions and learn how to use your brain better. Brain out.